What's going on, fam? We are here back with another chapter of Dead by Daylight. This is Dead by Daylight Descend Beyond chapter. We will be going over the Blight for this. We will be going over the Blight for this part. Here's the Blight right here. Awesome character. I love what they did. I love what Dead by Daylight did with the Blight. Let's go ahead and get into the character info here. All right, so for the Blight, difficulty to play is hard. This right here means that I don't know if I've covered in a past video, but this right here means that the perk has not been unlocked in the Blood Web yet. So still working towards a lot of these killers perks. And also, before we get into it, for killer side, currently there are 69 perks to unlock, I believe. 3 perks per killer. There's like 23 killers, so I believe that's 69 perks for the killer side. And then for the survivor side, I believe it's like 73 perks for the survivor side. Because there's like I think there's like 24 survivors, because one of the Stranger Things DLC, we got two survivors. So the next one coming out is Resident Evil, coming out in June of 2021. So looking forward to the Resident Evil chapter of Dead by Daylight. But here we go. Here is the Blight. We have the perks here. Dragon's Grip, Hex Blood Favor, and Hex Undying. The power is the Blight Corruption. Attributes: max base speed, 4.6 meters a second, 32 meters is base terror radius, and average height. All right, let's go ahead and get into the perks, fam. Dragon's Grip, teachable the Blight perk. Unlocking this perk makes it available in the Blood Web of all killers. After kicking a generator for the next 30 seconds, the first survivor that interacts with it will scream, revealing their location for 4 seconds and becoming afflicted with the exposed status effect for 60 seconds. Dragon's Grip has a cooldown of 120 seconds. Such potential in this compound, even the slightest traces causes unnatural effects. Journal of Talbot Grimes. May be unlocked in the Blood Web of the Blight from level 30 plus or in the Shrine of Secrets. That is in the store, by the way. The Shrine of Secrets is in the store. And if you'd like me to cover the store, drop a comment in the comments section. Hex Blood Favor, teachable the Blight perk. Unlocking this perk makes it available in the Blood Web of all killers. A hex that gains the entity's favor when blood is spilled. When a survivor hit with a basic attack, pallets within 16 meters of your location are held in place by the entity for 15 seconds. These pallets cannot be pulled down. Hex Blood Favor has a cooldown of 60 seconds. It would be no leap of the imagination to suggest that trials are biological response of sorts. Journal of Talbot Grimes. May be unlocked in the Blood Web of the Blight from level 35 plus or in the Shrine of Secrets. Hex Undying, teachable the Blight perk. Unlocking this perk makes it available in the Blood Web of all killers. While Hex Undying is active, survivors within 2 meters of any dual totem have their aura revealed. When another Hex totem is cleansed, that totem's Hex transfers to the Hex Undying totem. Deactivating Hex Undying, any tokens that transferred Hex had are transferred as well. May be unlocked in the Blood Web of the Blight from level 40 plus or in the Shrine of Secrets. All right, there we go, fam. That is the those are the perks. Again, Dragon's Grip, Hex Blood Favor, and Hex Undying are the teachable perks for the Blight. All right, going down to the power: Blighted Corruption. Pustule serum courses through his veins, corrupting his mind and body, yet granting him unnatural physical abilities. Special ability: Resh. Press the power button to quickly rush forward. Doing so consumes a rush token. While performing rush, the Blight cannot launch an attack. Rush into a wall or obstacle in the environment to slam onto it. If the rush fails to connect with a wall or obstacle, or if the Blight is out of rush tokens, he will enter a sort of fatigue state and begin recharging the tokens. Special attacks, lethal rush. Following a slam, press the power button to launch a lethal rush. Doing so consumes a rush token. A lethal rush behaves the same as a rush, except that the Blight may launch an attack by pressing the attack button. All right, so that's the perks, that's the power and the attributes and the difficulty covered. Let's go ahead and get into the backstory of the Blight. To understand the human condition, one must rise above it. This was the credo of Talbot Grimes, a Scottish chemist whose unrestrained ambition took him to towering heights. As a boy, he was a popular child, bright, charismatic, and unafraid to challenge authority. Yet despite his social graces, he was fiercely independent, spending much of his time exploring the sprawling fields near his town alone. What began as a child's curiosity nearly turned deadly after experimenting with a patch of poisonous foxglove. For days he laid in bed, dripping with sweat, purging any food that touched his stomach. When he recovered, it wasn't fear that gripped him, but fascination. There was something magical in how a single flower could so drastically affect him. Into his adult years, his ambition developed as quickly as questionable methods. He attended the London School of Medicine and excelled despite several reprimands. His willingness to push the limits secured him a position with the British East India Company, and within 7 years he was made head chemist. In time, he completed one of his greatest achievements, a chemical that could increase a worker's productivity while reducing their need for rest. He was rewarded with a secret laboratory beneath a prison camp on Dyer Island. There, off the coast of India, prisoners from the Opium War became his unwilling subjects, leading to a drug that would allow soldiers to withstand incredible amounts of pain. Though most side effects were minor, there were rumors that a small number of soldiers went mad. In feral states that massacred villages, impaling the populace on bayonets, leaving them hanging from trees. There were no official reports on the subject, and Talbot refused to blame himself for what could only be exaggerated war stories. Though his callous brilliance seemed unflappable, he was ignorant to the enemies his questionable work had amassed. The realization struck him quite literally, with a steel pipe to the back of his head during a trip to Mangalore. He was bound and loaded into a wagon. When his blindfold was removed, a sickly man showed him a mass grave filled with hundreds of bodies. Unbeknownst to Talbot, his productivity increasing drug had killed nearly an entire factory's worth of workers. He knew he couldn't defend himself against the anger and accusations of his abductor. All he could do was curl up as the blows from the steel pipe rained down. His body was thrown into the grave and left for dead. Shifting between consciousness and the darkest black, he crawled for an escape, fingers sinking into rotting flesh. Black flies feasted on his uncovered skin, the sensation of 100 pin pricks stabbing into him. As he collapsed, he came face to face with a dead woman's dazzling hazel eyes. Too weak to pull away, he could do nothing but witness his life's work. Then, from the edge of death, he was brought back. He found himself on a small bed as a kindly, wrinkled face looked over him. With each pain breath, he was nursed back to health in an ancient mystery school posing as a monastery. In verdant gardens behind tall, unassuming walls, monks studied forbidden texts, striving to expand the human mind in their search for dimensions, believing one to be connected to the other. Talbot's knowledge proved indispensable, his mind altering chemicals interrogating seamlessly with theories of neural expansion. He realized then that his salvation was no coincidence. He was plucked from the pit specifically to advance the school's knowledge. He agreed to help until his recovery was complete, being tasked with researching what the monks called soul chemical, a compound derived from the pineal gland that could open the mind's eye. What began as a favor to his savior soon became an obsession. Poring over the school's archives of lost texts, he uncovered scientific formulas that confirmed previously unthinkable ideas. He dreamt of ushering humankind into a new period of enlightenment. Perhaps then the nightmares of hundreds of dead factory workers and those two hazel eyes would fade from his mind. As he came closer to a breakthrough, the demeanor of the monks shifted. The gentle smiles they offered were paired with uneasy eyes that quickly darted away when spotted. The polite conversation he was once privy to turned to hushed murmurs. The last thing he would see of the school was cracked ceiling above his bed, branching like a dendrite through plaster. His next memories was a shattered mosaic of images and sensations. Smearing lights, horse hooves on cobblestone, coarse burlap scratching at his cheeks, and sharp bites into his arm. He woke ragged and unwashed, splayed on the straw mattress of an opium den. Mind in a dense fog, his first thoughts was of his notes, the only record of his groundbreaking revelations. He searched frantically, scrambling through the dingy basement, pleading aloud for help. The few other denizens looked up from their hammocks, offering nothing but drug-soaked eyes and apathetic gazes that soon fell into half-slumber. Before he noticed the robed figure appear behind him, a needle plunged into his arm and the world disappeared once more. Awoken again, each time hazier than the last. He tongued that hollow gasp between his teeth. How long, he wondered. A faint memory returned, the soul chemical, his notes, the verge of a breakthrough. A faraway whisper entered his mind. He fumbled with a stone, sharpening it with shaking hands. In the dim light of the den, amongst the catonic occupants, he carved his research from memory into the walls. He wrote for hours until his fingers bled, moving to the floor, taking in everything the voice whispered despite his ability to comprehend it. When there were nowhere left to write, he gripped the stone and carved the message into his chest. Stained with the blood, he witnessed a miracle appear before him, a magnificent field of lush orange flowers. The whispered voice beckoned to him, urging him to enter the field and discover worlds and dimensions beyond human comprehension. For a moment, Talbot felt the sense of wonder he possessed as a child. The denizens of the opium den awoke to silence, the dry scent of smoke still lingering in the air. Shambling out of their drug-hazed fog, they found the stone floor wet with blood, tiny rivulets coursing through the cracks. As eyes adjusted to the darkened room, the jagged lettering scrawled along its length began to appear, written over and over without end. There was but one single line: "Death is only the beginning." All right, fam, that is the Blight. Again, be sure to like, share, comment, and be sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content, and we shall see you in the next part or VOD. Until then, fam, stay safe, much love to you, and peace.